My name is Lakeisha, and my topic is going to be fetal alcohol syndrome. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So fetal alcohol syndrome is a condition that results from alcohol exposure during pregnancy. When a mother consumes It's basically when a mother consumes alcohol while she is pregnant, which can have adverse effects on the child before and after birth. A child with fetal alcohol syndrome has suffered some degree of brain damage and also will have developmental problems as well. So problems with growth in like limbs, physically, and mentally as well. So some symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome include distinctive facial features such as small eyes and head and thin upper lips, as well as a short upturned nose and a smooth surface between the nose and the upper lip. So definitely some facial deformities, and then like I was saying before, deformities in limbs as well, or slow physical growth, which is gonna have an adverse effect for when they're playing and they're trying to socialize with other children. It might be difficult to do those things that the other children can do just because they are slowed developmentally. There's also going to be some vision or hearing impairments, so they might need to wear glasses, and it's going to be harder for them to hear in busier classrooms. And then also things such as poor coordination and balance, which once again can affect them physically, like if they're doing any type of outdoor activities or playing any sports, it's going to have a reaction on their hand-eye coordination and things like that. Another one is hyperactivity or jitteriness, which is also a common reason why FASD has been misdiagnosed with ADHD, because they see that hyperactivity and they think, oh, well, the child probably has ADHD. They don't really look at the other symptoms and realize it for what it is, which is FASD. There's also going to be possibility for heart defects and problems with kidneys, so that's something to think about too. The best way to avoid having a child with FASD, since it's not irreversible, is avoiding any type of alcohol consumption during pregnancy, or if you know that you're struggling with an alcohol addiction, it's best to get that treated first before having children or deciding to have children, just because you want to make sure that you give your child the best chance you can growing up in this world. And in order to effectively teach a child with FASD, you have to first recognize and understand the disability for what it is. So I'm going to be going into teaching strategies. You want to make sure you know for a fact that the child is struggling with FASD, and you want to understand the level of brain damage that has been done, or like what their needs are as in concern to FASD, because that's going to help you in the long run when you're trying to come up with the teaching strategies as well. Also, you also want to make sure the educational environment has been modified based on the students' needs. And the way you can do that is by structuring or changing the classroom environment, which means like changing things around to make them easier and more accessible to the child. You also want to stick to a consistent routine, because children with disorders normally do well, or they do better when sticking to a routine. It helps them. They know exactly what they need to do when they come in and things like that. So sticking to a routine is good. You want to do brief presentations as well, so not long, drawn out, or complicated presentations, because it's going to make it harder for the child to understand. And you want to make sure there's a variety of different, strategies that you're trying, just in case if they're not learning in the way that you're teaching, you're hitting that point in a different way with a different teaching strategy. And you also want to do repetition. Repetition is going to be good because since they are slowed developmentally, it's going to take more for them to comprehend, understand, and grasp certain ideas. So making sure that you're repeating yourself is going to be good for their learning. And also having good character is going to help as well. You want to make sure that you're creative with your teaching, you're funny, you're being compassionate to the child and understanding, and also make sure that you're being patient as well, because they are slow developmentally, so it's going to take them a little longer to grasp the information. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to make them feel comfortable, so it can make them it can make understanding or learning that much easier because they're willing to learn. They feel comfortable to do so. And also you want to make sure that you're working together with the family or the parents of the child, just to make sure that they know that they have your support and that you're doing everything you can in the classroom, and you're also helping them by giving them tips that they can take home with them and help them understand what the child is dealing with, what the child is going through, and understand their condition as well. There are many nonprofit organizations as well that will provide support for families with children who have FASD, such as the National Organization on Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, which educates the public and lawmakers about the disease and or the disorder, and it also just makes awareness of it so in the long run, so people can avoid even having to deal with this. They can nip it in the bud in the beginning and not drink alcohol while they're pregnant. There's also the Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Center for Excellence, which is devoted to preventing and treatment of children with FASD, which is very helpful for families when they're learning how to deal with the symptoms and get through everything and make sure the child has a nice childhood, a good life. And the last one that I'm going to go over is Families Moving Forward program, which helps with the children and the families. It helps with them providing for them and the caregivers as well. So that's very helpful. And there's tons of organizations that help and will strive towards promoting it so people are aware and they know as well what it is and how they can prevent it, or if their child has it, how they can treat it and how they can help their child. So that's it for my video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you later. Bye.